smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
So chase greatness and start understanding that he's gonna make everybody better.
The tape never lies.
I don't want to see your tape breakdowns if you cannot show me things that are negative about a guy that's on your current team.
Hashtag chase greatness. Hashtag take that.
Keep it 100.
Because I'll make this one more time clear. Caden Whitlow, got it.
Keeping it 100.
He is the best quarterback I have ever scouted on tape.
The Chicago Bears select.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man in Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keep it in 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the fake and anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shane got some haters. But now them out stuff like the true and now and latest. Debaters, draws get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up and down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks strolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shane.
Give me some fucking names. We have 2 fucking games.
Fuck a play or a captain, all of the unfair. The tape never lies, the truth you see. We laugh, we lie, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a stat nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like trip sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun did. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
100.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo! Welcome back to Keeping It 100 on the best 4-letter network on the planet. The tape never lies. Post-draft, I hope everybody's settled down or settled in because we still got some discussions to be had. But let's just go ahead and jump into it because it's gonna be a fun night. Before we get started, like, share, subscribe, become a patron today at www.thetapeneverlies.com. Best $10 you'll ever spend. Let's go ahead and bring the boys in because I know everybody's hot and fired up and ready to go. Shane, the smartest man, Marsal, and DDP, Draft Doctor.
Yo.
What up, boys?
What's up, Shane? I'm working on getting those non-reflective bright glasses, Shane.
Yeah, you should work on that. Absolutely, Phil. You should.
Just
You
what's
should,
up, Shane? What the fuck?
you should definitely know better. I forgot about that one. I'm glad you brought it up.
I have to make sure that my lighting is appropriate. Some of these fans really admire this jawline,
Yeah,
and handsome face.
that's right. They're
I didn't
worried about
realize that.
they're worried about your glasses and not our edges.
No, we have discovered that, and I've copywritten this and sent a patent on Ryan Poles' weight loss and edge loss medication. It's called Edgezempic, and Ryan Poles has been taking it for 5 years, and the Bears have completely showcased that they have lost an edge.
Yeah, man. Like I
Right?
said,
So,
I know
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anybody grading a draft after the draft, I get it. Fans want a grade. Like, you know the grade. The grade is unknown. Go back and look at post-draft grades 4 years ago. Let's see what those look like. And it's embarrassing that we have to sit here and manipulate and flip-flop daily on a priority position in the holy trinity of football, that we are going to listen to nerds talk about fucking analytics, that Deo motivated is going to somehow come back and supersede anything. We're not looking in a draft to fucking find some sack leader as a rookie. We're trying to get a semblance of some stability at the fucking position that could end up going there.
Well, Phil, they get it at safety because they're like, hey, listen, again, this isn't an indictment on Thieneman, but this is what I hear people say. Well, Thieneman and Kobe Bryant complement one another perfectly, and it gives Dennis Allen multiple options at the safety position. And it's no different than at edge. We know what we have. We know that.
Exactly.
It's a good Montez Sweat in improving Austin Booker that everybody to a man has thrown 110% confidence behind in Austin Booker. Now, am I excited about where his improvements have been? Is it set in stone what he's going to be? Of course it's not. After that, it's massive question marks that have done zero in the NFL. And you're expecting improvement on your 214 pressures, which puts you at 31st in the NFL.
Ed Zempic, brought to you by the McCaskies. No swearing, no edges, no stadium. We can go on for days here. I have fans on Facebook trying to see the positive in this. You're not going to talk me into a recognized issue that has been completely overlooked. Not 1 year. And I think people just want to hear what they want to hear.
Well, they don't want to hear anything negative about the new toy. And I've been over that 100 times at this point. We talked about it multiple times on CHGO After Dark the other night. And it just, I don't understand when at the end of the day, when you strip all of the bullshit away, we're all Chicago Bears fans at heart. We want what's best for the Chicago Bears. And imagine wanting to address an important piece of your team that it's tried and true. The defensive line can dictate games, can win championships. We've seen it in the NFL. How did Philadelphia dominate Kansas City in the Super Bowl?
But they didn't have a 12, 15 sack guy, Shane.
Same way Tampa Bay dominated.
This is the nerd reality. Let me break this down for you who read books to get your fucking draft analysis. Not that there's anything wrong with that if you're a fan, but if you're portraying to be an analyst and you're doing that shit, there's an issue there. There is. But one pass rusher with a motivated talent, hand usage, and the ability to finish and stress the quarterback, despite his size, length, traits, because that shit's dumb, Dennis Allen. You can't get me going on that. I'll just state that. But one guy can equal four guys. And this is how this works. Because if you know football and you're not on your fucking calculator looking at stats and all this other shit, you will understand that when someone on this side and someone in the middle and someone at the 3 technique is invading the pocket, and you have a high motor talent out here invading a one-on-one to the credit of the double, now the sack totals can go up all around. It's a fucking game of football, not a game of one guy. That's the problem. You're not hearing this anywhere. So I waited to tonight so they can't fucking steal everything that they do, that we do. It's a reality. So yeah, you fucking take an edge, whether it be in the second round, the first round, the third round. You take someone that has higher ability and talent. Who is that person? Who would I have taken? Everyone wants, who would you take then? Cassius Howell. Would have taken him at 25. Would have taken him there. Doesn't fucking matter that he went 38, 41, whatever he went. The talent on tape shows that maybe opposite Montez Sweat and maybe opposite Grady Jarrett next to him, or maybe Neville Gallimore or the next guy that creates a double, creates a one-on-one that he fucking wins. Because that's the game. You don't win with the same old shit that you continuously see. You're all sitting there trying to sell, and it's you people that aren't having a complaint. You're giving an A+ to this fucking draft? You haven't seen him play a fucking down. Can't have a guy graded in the 7th round. Oh, but he's now taken in the 3rd. That ain't a reach. It isn't. Because Ben did it. You can't kiss ass. We have to look at it realistically. That's what I'm doing here. Edges are a problem. There's a defensive tackle that you're switching to defensive end. There's a DN that you paid as an edge. Shane, did they go in and sign Deo to play 3 tech or D tackle? Did they?
No, they
No.
You know, yeah, they
paid him
signed
as an edge,
But Phil,
right?
that's Ben who Ryan Poles is. Don't forget about DeMarcus Walker. They signed him to
DeMarcus
play
Walker.
defensive end, and on tape he was better at defensive tackle. When he got into games in Chicago, he was better on the inside. But you wanted to force him outside because that's where you signed him. Now, just like with Shamar Turner, you drafted him at defensive tackle. You have a need, so you're pushing him outside. We've seen this over and over. Let's not forget, Jervon Dexter signed. The Bears dabbled with putting him at defensive end. A guy with no get off. We're just going to push him outside and figure it out. And again, listen, I don't want to go down this road again for an entire show like we have from the draft, because we need to talk about the players that are here. But at the end of the day, and somebody in the chat said, I don't think that there's a problem with getting excited about our new players. Nobody's saying that you can't, but you also have to be open-minded enough to realize that new doesn't mean better automatically. Our needs along the defensive line were there in 2022. They were there in 2023. They were there in 2024. They were there in 2025. More so than any time because we made the NFL playoffs. And this offseason was what? It was all about, this is the offseason that we attack the defense and get this defensive line right like we did with the offensive line. Now, there's going to be pundits out there that say, well, we can't do that because this is sunk cost and the Bears have already spent way too much money on players that they already have. Bullshit. All you're doing is taking whatever Ryan Poles and Dennis Allen, and you got to throw Ben Johnson in there too, and you're going to take whatever they say and agree with it. Bullshit. The Chicago Bears currently have $0 in dead money for them. So you can take your sunk cost and add dollars to that to bring in an upgraded player. Now, if you're in championship territory, if you're contending for a Super Bowl, that should be your focus, not your sunk cost that you've invested in Dio Adengbo and he hasn't worked out, that you've invested in Grady Jarrett too much because your locker room was toxic. I don't want to hear the sunk cost. That's about the weakest argument you can make. That's just agreeing with what the power players at the Chicago Bears do. Oh, they did this, so we're going to agree with it. Because you know what? If you didn't like Keldrick Falk, that was fine. And if the Chicago Bears had drafted Keldrick Falk at 25, this chat, almost every analyst would be excited about it and praising the kid to no end. Because why? Because he's a Bear. Because he's a shiny new toy. This is not an indictment on Dylan Thieneman. This is not an indictment on Logan Jones or Sam Roush or whoever. Xavion Thomas even. It's not. Over and over and over and over again, the position has been dismissed. Not only in the draft, it was dismissed in pro free agency with the wrong people. You even dismissed it in undrafted free agency after the draft. The only guys that you brought in are guys on tryout, rookie camp basis. That's it. And if we had done one show and said that this is what you're going to do leading in to the 2026 draft, and edge was not addressed in the draft or in UDFA, everybody would have lost their minds. Even people giving A+ grade to the Bears for their draft. I brought this up, and it's true. Had Greg Braggs taken the exact outcome of the Bears' current draft and submitted that into CHGO 2 weeks ago as the Greg Braggs mock draft, he would have been vilified on air by the panel there. That is the point. But now it's A+ because it's a Bear, because they're Bears. It makes no sense. This isn't an indictment on the current draft class. It's an indictment on Ryan Poles, on Ben Johnson, and on Dennis Allen. Ben Johnson, I'm not going to question what he did on offense. He deserves that latitude. I get it. I don't have to believe in what Ben Johnson's acquisitions have been on defense yet because he doesn't deserve it. So me questioning it is healthy. A shiny new toy is fun until it doesn't work right.
I think just like last year, we're going to support them. They're Bears, right? I mean, we're not blindly agreeing with every decision, like you said, but we're going to support this team and these players because they're Bears and because they can help us win. But when it comes down to it, like you said, Shane, there's something broken or there's just some type of neglect that they don't want to emphasize that position. Now, I'm not saying that, they can't sign some, veteran guys still here, but is that what we really want? Don't we want guns in the bullets in the chamber,
right,
ready to go year in and year out?
Get over just assuming that because you signed Cam Jordan, let's go win a Super Bowl. He's 36. You should have signed Cam Jordan and drafted a guy if you were smart. But this is the thing, and I'm glad you started. Started
some of these.
Yeah, right here. We already know, but you guys keep bitching about it. Write a letter to the Bears front office. Yeah, because that's gonna help.
We're gonna continue to do as many shows
Let's open up,
as we fucking want.
Let's open up the mail.
Bears.
Let's open up the mail today. What do we got? Oh, TTNL boys are pissed we didn't get an edge. Ryan, get up here, you son of a bitch. Come on, please.
It's Edge Zempic season here every April.
We're here to hold the Bears accountable because fans like you won't.
Exactly. Until it rears its ugly head. And then you'll creep in the background pretending that Phil and Shane don't have a following. Like a little ass bitch.
Well,
that's what all these dudes do. Poach all you fucking want. You have no integrity. But the reality is to sit here and ignore 5 years, 5 drafts, not one defensive end selected in the top 4 rounds, yet 2 taken punters and 2 taken defensive ends in those time post 4th round.
Definitely wasn't
It's-
sarcastic. Definitely wasn't
It's
sarcastic.
reality beyond anything.
Just
Let
be
me
true
just
to it.
finish what I'm saying. Fuck this fuck. I don't give a fuck. Sovereignty. Go out there, fucking start writing better comedy because it's not funny. It's an embellishment and an embarrassment of the riches. The same people standing there are ignoring the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles and how many defensive linemen they continue the draft, trade for, do a fucking $100 million trade in the middle of this while having all this young talent at edge. Why do they do that? Because they understand the process. Why do the Giants have like 5 edges? Because they're trying to turn around their defense. Coaching matters. Ben came in here, did outstanding with the offense, but he had a top-notch talent and a rebuilt line and an offense and a mission. The defense has been atrocious. Isaiah reminded me of the fucking 49ers game, you asshats. I forgot too. When Brock Purdy's out there juking the shit out of Austin Booker and delaying time while Tremaine Edmonds picks his ass, he has one responsibility: stay in coverage. He comes up and he just throws they lose that game.
Wasn't there a 3rd and 18 in that game, Phil? Or something?
Yes,
There was a huge play where they couldn't get to the quarterback.
They could never, because Shane brought up the Packers playoff game. They rushed 3, so I'll give them that. I hated that decision, but still, the reality of this, you can't succeed nor understand success if you don't swing at the plate when you're up. And I just feel like you're just writing things off by the way people fall. That's who they are. That's how the NFL saw them. No, that's not how the draft works. It's Hall of Famers in the 6th round. Well, they all got it wrong. How did they get it wrong? How the fuck do these billion-dollar fucking businesses get it wrong?
But you can't get it wrong if you, like I said, I made that graphic. Can't miss at defensive end if you don't draft any.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The only way you don't get it wrong is if you don't even try. And you fans that don't want to hear this and just want to have happy time, go watch another show. But it's a real issue that correlates with what transpired because it's several layers. It's years, free agency this year, post what you did last year, draft this year, and after the draft with your undrafted free agent signings, there is not one new face in that rotation. Now I'm gonna cut you off because you're typing right now, little Timmy and Rodney. You're typing right now. They might make a trade. You don't know. Cut in post June. You're waiting on guesses. You're waiting on guesses. That's not how you better the position. It's just not. Unless you're going to go out there and trade for an elite established end. Like a Max Crosby. Now you've done something to try to fix the biggest hole on your team. And I say that truthfully. This asshat in the chat's trying to pump up Shamar Turner. As if Shamar Turner's he's the unknown. Just like fucking Deo with a rod in his leg coming off an injury. Stop.
pumping up Shamar Turner would be like saying to yourself right now, today, April 29th, that we're going to roll the dice with Karan Amagaji at left tackle.
True defensive end, Shane. Trying to pump up the fact that he didn't get drafted as D tackle, Jerry. You're craving for a fucking brain. It's embarrassing. I just put some logic into this. Debate the point. The whole fucking world of football is talking about how could the fucking Bears. And then you got guys like Cowherd trying to praise it. That should be a fucking smoking gun warning, a flare gun. Cowherd's praising the Bears? Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. And it's not sitting well with me. It's just not. And it has nothing to do with these players that were drafted. It's just the process of building. I, truthfully, if you watched my mock, would have traded up 100 out of 100. I projected it. I go, if this motherfucker gets to 12, Shane.
I think you said it that night live. Yeah.
Yes. Ruben Bain, you trade your fucking second round picks or one of and in future to get up there and get that animal for this team. You talk about changing a dynamic of your defense with this kind of guy. Don't give two fucks where he went in the draft. Where did Randy Moss go in the draft, Shane?
18 or something like that.
18. How it's such a similar play. This news comes out. A child was killed to denigrate the guy before the draft. I've seen this story many times, and it's hilarious. We, as a TTNL, saw Jalen Carter and Darnell Wright, and we recognized Carter's talent, but there was off the field attitude, energy towards football issues that you felt concerned, and so did the whole league. So that's why you pass on that kind of guy. Bain, now you trade up, you get him. If not, I take Cassius Howell. I have a higher grade on Howell than Thieneman. True story. I have Malachi Lawrence, Howell, all over Thieneman. That's a safety.
Yeah, and
Put it in your book.
Yeah, so we can get to this draft class, but again, with like sovereignty saying, you guys talked about this all weekend. Yeah, because it was the fucking NFL draft. This is the Wednesday after the draft. This is our first live show since the draft on TTNL. We did After Dark. Yes, it's relevant. It's going to be relevant next week. It doesn't mean the entirety of a 2 or a 3 hour show is going to be this, but just to dismiss it and, can't complain about Justin because he's a Bear. It's the same goddamn thing that we went through before. The same thing.
I was just more upset that he was being a little bitch and didn't own him talking shit about it and try to say it was sarcasm. Like who says things 3 or 4 times and says, "Oh, it's sarcasm." Like don't be a bitch about it.
He wants to hear that Thieneman's going to be the next Ed Reed. He wants to hear that Sam Roush is going to be the next Gronk. And to go someplace else and watch it. You guys have been with us for a long time. You know how we are with this. Like I said, yes, have we been wrong? 100%. I said I didn't like the Bears process last year, taking a tight end in the top 10 as a 5-win team. Show me another team that has done that. It's a very, very short list. And guess what? What did I say in season? I'm not going to question that anymore. I was wrong. This is different. Has Ben proven as the lead dog that he knows and can analyze talent on defense? Because I don't give a shit what anybody says. This is Ben Johnson's franchise. It is. Period. End of sentence. It is. It just is. And I understand the benefit of him having the input because he's designing offenses and he knows what type of players give him grief or give his offenses grief. I get it. But to date, defensive line is a problem. And I think the only thing that makes sense to me, I think that the Max Crosby thing that I brought up, I think is an absolute pipe dream. I would put it at a less than 5% chance that he's even traded by Vegas. I don't think it's likely at all. I think that Ben is as much of a madman that he went to DA and he said, you know what? You were banging the table for Dio. You were banging the table for Ruben Hippolyte. You were banging the table for Grady Jarrett. You were banging the table for these guys brought in last year on defense. And none of them have produced up to their capabilities or what they're being paid for. So you're going to coach them up or you and them will all be gone in 2027. Let's not forget, he put his assistant head coach on blast with the wide receivers and Antoine Randall L. And I respect the hell out of Ben Johnson for doing that. But he's going to hold Antoine Randall L. accountable, and you don't think he's going to do it with Dennis Allen? That's the only viable thing that makes sense to me. But even with that being said, for you to not address it at all, to not even take a single swing, and I don't want to hear the best player available bullshit. That's another cop-out. Was Ruben Hippolyte the best available? If he was the best available, then why is Ryan Poles on 1920 Football Drive saying, we about ready to shock the world? Everybody going to be surprised with this one. And they're smiling because they knew. Was Torrey Taylor best player available in the 4th round? Of course he wasn't. Of course he wasn't.
Bayless?
Was Ozzie Trapillo the best player available last year? No, he was the best tackle available to the Bears. It's best player available, ... at a position of need.
It's just that simple, guys. And I would never, and it's just the process that I see it as, to give any kind of credence, it needs to be earned more than 1 year. I'm sorry. You could say whatever the fuck you want. It ain't hating. It's just the reality of football. Ben himself is saying that to your face. How do you repeat? No, we start new. It's a whole fucking new team. Now, I could create pressure with Devin Bush, Bryant, and the blitz.
Bill, this is I'm sorry to step on your toes. Stewart has the kill shot, and it's the fucking truth, and it's the fucking lock, stock, and barrel. It's wrap it up. The fucking game's over. The fat lady's singing. It's done. Go back and watch it. They literally, on night number 2, they literally tell you who and what they're going to do on day 3. He goes, all right, how's it looking? So tomorrow we're looking at the punter. We got to watch. He even brings up Cincinnati. They think that the Cincinnati Bengals might draft Torrey Taylor. So we're going to go with punter, and then we're going to take a future 4, and we're going to move up into the 5th, and we're going to go with Booker. How are you a best player available franchise when you're doing that? So that tells you that it's bullshit. The BPA myth. Would they have pivoted if a true BPA was there? I mean, come on. They were targeting 2 running backs last year on day 3. 2. Bashul Tootin and what's his name from the Giants that blew his knee out? That everybody loved.
Scattaboo, my guy.
Cam Scattaboo.
Both
and they
those
went
guys were
they
my
went
guy.
boom boom. Ryan Poles bailed. Was that because BPA came off the board there? No, it was because they wanted to go running back. And then they traded way down. And why did they trade way down? Because they knew not a fucking soul was going to take Ruben Hippolyte in round 4.
It's a world full of GMs. I've seen guys breaking down tape now that have never coached in their life, but are just coming up with tape. But I've seen it all. I guess this is the world we live in.
I can address this too, Illini. So Thieneman wasn't supposed to be there, right? Okay, let's just buy that. Anything can happen in the NFL draft, as we all know. Were the Bears high on Thieneman? Of course they were. They drafted him. But in what world, if you are so absolutely stunned that a guy, a miracle, a gift from the gods, the football gods have bestowed upon you, Dylan Thieneman, falls into your lap at 25, why are you making phone calls to trade down? Not my words, your general manager's words. Go back and watch the presser as soon as night number 1 ends. Those were Ryan Poles' words. Yes, we got on the clock and we tried to trade down. There wasn't much interest. Those were his words. Wasn't much interest. Pick 23 was traded. Pick 24 was traded. 26 was traded. 27, 28, 29, and 30 were all traded. 25 was not. But there was no interest. There was no interest. So either everybody in the NFL is fucking lying or Ryan Poles is talking some crazy shit. Like saying weird stuff like, well, our secondary is very good, so we're going to try to have our secondary have the quarterback hold the ball longer so we can get after the quarterback. Great. That inspires a ton of confidence. Also, while shitting on your first-round draft pick that you just brought in.
It's another level of understanding for me what I'm saying in how you build a football team.
It's what he said. That is what he said, Danny.
Yeah, it is.
And they talked about it multiple times.
I have never liked Poles. I just haven't. I don't see the dog in him. The dog goes up, gets to 14 or 13, and gets Ruben Bain. Because anybody to a man, if they were asked, and this is the first time in my life I can remember going into a draft season saying, these are the two biggest needs that I look at this football team. Post free agency and after pre-free agency and post free agency. Edge and tackle. That's what I saw. Because you traded for the center from New England. You went into free agency and signed 3 defensive tackles. So here I am thinking, okay, you're set up. Maybe they don't take them in the first because we know they could be weird. But second round, you're getting them. Third round, you're definitely getting them. Fourth round, how could you not get? Wait, there's more. Never. Nada. And to sit there as a fan and come at Shane and Phil because we're the only ones that are standing in the sense of sensibility. It's just insanity on a level that everybody and their brother is talking about outside of Chicago. Like, how could you not? Like, you want to surround Caleb with plenty of You have a whole draft to surround Caleb with plenty of talent. I picked receiver. I picked Logan Jones in my mock draft. I see these players. I see the tight end and the rationale behind it. 100%. I get it. What I think you can't understand is the process by which this team has been negligent, completely and utterly abusive in regards to building talent at the defensive end position. It's just amazing. So no matter what Jerry the fucking geriatric is talking about in the fucking chat, Shamar Turner has never showcased to me that he can win all the time at defensive end. Now, I'm never going to put a limit on any player, but the odds of Deo coming in here and being a different football player, I would say are 3%. And that ain't good. So it's just a reality of truth that has some person like this guy thinking it's insults. No, what's insulting is so many things in this world that we pay taxes on. That's insulting. And everybody just does it. We all just do it. So insulting, bro, is the fact that the Bears continue to fail to add talent to a position that seems to be one injury away from being talentless. And I think that's fair for us to have conversations and completely analyze the position that has been neglected like it was. Motivated Deo, Shamar Turner, Montez Sweat, and anybody else that you're talking about on this roster. The same guy GM that called Roshan Johnson a pillar piece. I just don't see it. And I think we all have to be in truth. And it's okay to question. Even after you won, the questioning and the debating and the discussion are very healthy. And this isn't trying to win in regards to, you'll see if I'm fucking wrong. I thank you, God. I will come on. I'm so happy I was wrong.
So here's Ryan Poles after the first round talking about sequencing and how the top guy in their sequencing was Dylan Thieneman. Clearly, they stuck and they picked at 25. And then he says, yeah, we had a couple of guys we talked about trading down, and there wasn't much interest. What was just told to me in the chat that's not what was said, Shane, because I'm not here to make shit up, guys. Listen, I've probably been a Bears fan longer than whoever said that. Mm-hmm. Why am I? Do you guys think that Phil and I really want to come on here and talk negativity about the Bears? No, we don't. And listen, the Bears are coming off a playoff season. I think that the Bears should be able to kick the fucking door down this year for a Super Bowl. I do. But you have to make sure you're in the best position available to do that defensively on your defensive line. The way that they're constructed currently, it's not sustainable. If you have a career year out of Montez Sweat, what is it going to be? 13 sacks? Austin Booker, does he get to the next level and get to 8? Does Jamry Chroma get a sack?
Does he
but anyways,
here's
Ryan Poles.
We knew that we were going to get a good football player. They were all. I drew a line on our top 100 of ones that we would be looking to trade back, trade up,
Mr. Uncrustable.
and
Just listen.
it fell where we had a couple guys there in the sequence. So we looked to potentially move back a little bit. There wasn't much interest right behind us where we felt comfortable in terms of the numbers.
Really?
So we just moved forward. And
Yeah.
we love the player, so we were.
Wasn't
we were
much
excited about it.
interest where we felt
Is there in a
comfortable because of
situation
the
where
numbers.
you need a
So,
day one starter to go in
I
and
don't
then
wanna
be able to land
hear-
that guy, but just
I don't want to hear that Dylan Thieneman was a bright, shining beacon of light, because you know what, Phil? If Reuben Bain was on the board at 25 or Caden Proctor is on the board at 25, they're not attempting to fucking trade down at all. They're
100%.
writing the fucking name down and they're partying in the war room. That's why we're questioning things, guys. That is why. This is not an indictment on Dylan Thieneman at all. It's not.
And Shane, in all my life, and I know several former Bears have reached out to me saying the same thing that I'm about to say. So you could put their names in your head if you, but I'm not gonna put their name to it without their permission. But it's like a broken record. In football life, we've never seen a GM talking about the pass rush improving because you're going to make the quarterback hold the ball longer with defensive backs talent. You don't win with safeties. I'm sorry.
Listen, and
They're
Illini,
part of it.
Illini, I appreciate you wanting to have a different point of view from this. But who the
He
fuck
just said with him on the fucking board.
who the fuck trades down in the NFL draft without knowing who's on the fucking board? Who trades down before their own pick on night number 1? So you're at pick
Nobody.
22. It doesn't work that way. Yes, you're going to gauge to see who's interested in moving. He just said we had 2 guys in the sequence. Ding, 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 ding. They felt like they could drop back 1 or 2 spots and still get one of their 2 guys on their board at the top of their sequence. Dylan Thieneman, and we're not going to get into the other part of it.
Is he saying Johns just said, Sean? Is that what you're saying? Or Hans from across the ponds?
Honest.
Honest. That
Yeah, and it's
just
so
said
so
the
that
Bears had
so
people
then what he's doing is
high
called,
on their board.
what he's calling
They
is-
had no choice but
Right.
to take him. Wouldn't
That's-
even think about trading.
So
That is
don't-
the complete opposite of what you just heard. So save your fucking fairy tale for somebody else post draft. We can't rewrite shit. I know some swift-minded analysis of draft prospects can delete their shit and try to manipulate fans, but we won't do that here. Tell me what you just heard. In fact, why don't we rewind it and play it again? Let's go to the videotape one more time for the kid that was picking his nose in the back of the room, or the guy that was looking at his PFF statistical analysis of how much percentage did he play in third down personnel and what he tackled percentage in the alley. No,
But
let's listen to the truth.
This is the point. Kruderschmidt, you're right. You're right. Why would you ever entertain it? If he was so high on your board, why would you risk him going at 26? It makes no sense. That's the fucking point.
We just play.
If you're staying true
Just
to your
play it
board,
and pause it.
if you're staying true to your board, and he is separated by so much, and the football gods gifted you to him, why would you
said
entertain?
that.
Why would you
So
ever?
Johns lied.
Why would you ever
Or
entertain?
they
it?
lied to Johns.
It just
I'm
does.
sorry.
People get mad. You wanna you want to just be excited, and I get it because fan is short for fanatic, but not being able to question process, it just because you take a BPA doesn't even make. Listen, just because Colston Loveland worked out doesn't mean that the Bears process is correct. The Bears process also brought you Jervon Dexter. It brought you Zach Pickens. It brought you Ruben Hippolyte.
It brought you Deo. I
right,
can't even say your
chat.
motherfucking last name right now.
Dangbo. All right, chat. Put
And
in
Deo was his
put in the
name,
comments, chat. Who is the franchise foundational piece that Ryan Poles has brought to you in 5 NFL drafts on defense? In 5 years. I don't want to hear Dylan Thieneman because he's never played a snap in the NFL.
This
So
is
who
what
is
I
it?
said, flunk.
Who is
I know
who
you
is the
flunk.
who is the franchise pillar on defense that he has signed you in pro free agency on defense in 5 NFL off seasons? Who is it?
We'll wait. We'll wait. Yeah, there's people out there, and with what we have, you're looking for any fucking crumb of Jadeveon Clowney. Could Joey Bosa help us? Hello? I was hurt. The Edge Zempic I took. Play this right now. Johns was lied to because told by the Bears.
Ryan
listen
Poles
to
didn't draft
Poles.
Jalen Johnson. Ryan Pace
That was
did.
Ryan Pace.
2020 draft.
Thank you. You're not going to get over on us. Go ahead, Shane. Play it again. Mr. Ryan Poles talks about the
They're
safety.
all. I drew a line on our top 100 of ones that we would be looking to trade back, trade up, and
he's
it
nervous.
fell where we had a couple guys there in the sequence. So we looked to potentially move back a little bit. There wasn't much interest right behind us where we felt comfortable in terms of the numbers.
Pause.
So
We looked to trade back a little bit.
So what he's
But
telling
there wasn't
you there
much
is
interest to trade up.
what he's telling you there is that 26 in Buffalo and 27 in Miami. Buffalo made a trade with Houston. They weren't interested in coming up because you know who Buffalo wanted? Buffalo wanted the wide receiver Casey Concepcion, who went to Cleveland at 24. That is why they bailed. They wanted a wide receiver. So they weren't interested in coming up. So what did he tell you? We had 2 guys in our sequence. So what does that mean? Hey, we have 2 guys. We can drop back to 27. We're guaranteed one of those guys. Neither team wanted to come up. Miami took the corner from San Diego State at 27, Chris Johnson, who the Bears, liked. Obviously not enough to draft. But that's why. And yes, it had everything to do with compensation. But are you willing to lose your number 1 player in your sequence for a 5th round draft pick? Because that's what you're talking about.
Of course not, but when you listen closely and you know the tendencies of what Ryan Poles says when he's at the podium, you can pick him apart and know exactly what the fuck he means.
Here's the thing, Derek. The fucking reality of what was being said that Adam Johns is being told by the Bears is the utter opposite. Why doesn't he come to the thing? This is our guy. Once he dropped, we ran to the podium. He doesn't say that. See, that's why we have this guy, the smartest man. He checks these boxes and
I'll guarantee.
Listen to it 7 times and show me.
It was not Thieneman and EMW or EWM. But either way, I'm just saying, if you have that much of a huge separator, Phil, as a general manager, as a head football coach, you're not risking losing your number one guy over a 5th round draft pick, because you're probably not even getting that to drop back 1 or 2 spots. I mean, that's probably aiming high. They were willing to risk it.
Poles got us Caleb and Ben, Shane. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. He deserves the benefit. That's sorry. These guys are all throwing names out. Fuck. And the reality of those names are not good, right? So when we look at the process and we have an issue, not only with the process, but the process for the last 5 drafts. And then we look at how they draft and build and yet put money into projects, injured players, and guys that aren't dogs, that might be nice guys. We changed. Do you hear this? Or is it just fucking me and Shane and Ivan? We changed our approach. We're looking for guys that love the game. When Ben came here, that happened.
100%. The players that he's drafted in the past 2 drafts have a totally different demeanor and style of play in football than he drafted prior. You know how many players are not on the football team from his previous drafts? Fucking double digits. So let's not fucking crown Ryan Poles every single time we go to a draft, because God, I mean, last year I like Loveland. You know, there's a couple pieces there. Obviously, Manungai is a huge plus. Hopefully, Trapillo comes back. But let these 2 play out. And don't forget, these are Ben's drafts. There's not fucking Ryan. Ryan had his time with fucking, not Trustman, Eberflus. That's over. These are Ben's drafts now.
Right. So I think it's great. So we're
way over the time.
Well, we're 58 minutes in. And like I said, and I get your anxiety as a fan hearing us bang the drum on the same exact thing, but it's a big deal. It just is. It's a big deal because it's so critical. And I made the comment on one of our live shows during the draft. It's no coincidence that the Bears finally invested heavily in their offensive line and they made the playoffs. It's no coincidence. They invested heavily in a legitimate football coach. And what did he do? He invested heavily into the offensive line. And he helped, I don't want to say unlock Caleb Williams, but he set Caleb Williams' trajectory to where it should be pointed. Because under Matt Eberflus, none of that was sustainable. Caleb was good enough to overcome the bullshit. Yes. But listen, it cannot be dismissed. When you are able to clear room for the 2027 offseason, everybody and their brother knows where you got to go. And that's the same place that everybody and their brother thought the Bears were going to go this offseason. But why we can't? Because we've already missed so much and spent so much. Every one of us loved the TJ Edwards signing. Every one of us did. And then you know what he did? He made it worse by extending him when he didn't need to. And now where are you doing that? That goes into your sunk cost, along with Grady Jarrett, with Dio Adengbo, Montez Sweat to a certain degree. And listen, he's played well. But this is all part of it. Having dead money on your cap is sustainable. The Bears have 0. So you could make a move to get off a guy to bring in somebody that you think is an improvement over somebody else that has a chance. The Bears have chosen not to do it. So to me, that points to Ben Johnson has put the radar on Dennis Allen and on every member of the defensive line.
Who's been here longer, Brandon? Who's been here longer in the position of power? Fucking Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles had plenty of opportunities, and Phil and Shane have both laid it out. 5 years of opportunities,
Right.
and you have not struck. And if we're going to be, and real quick, we're going back to Wendy's comment.
Well,
Because
I'm going to
it's not-
address Wendy's comment.
Go ahead. Okay, you go ahead. Do that.
Ivan said that, but I know what Ivan means. You're just now taking his words into, so let me explain it even more. The style of player to fit Ben's culture is different than the style that would fit Matt Eberflus's culture.
100%.
What that says is your GM is soft as fucking puppy shit because he doesn't have an eye for a culture. He doesn't see dogs. We've seen this. So he needs the help to do it. And when he does take a shot at an edge, you get a Deo. You get a trade. You get a rod in the leg. A lazy fat fuck who can't get out of his stance, or somebody who doesn't give a shit. The reality is the process had to change. Now, who gets the blame? The GM gets the blame, because there is no way I can say I'm not in that room that Mr. Ben Johnson standing up. We need Cassius Howell right now. If these guys went off the board, or we need to trade up for Ruben Bain. That is the job of this fucking dude right here on your screen. And he's nervous and scared all the time, and he can't do it. But you'll be saying that shit next year when you watch this defensive line in every game. Let wins get away from what the offense is doing. You can't completely turn around and think that you're going to be the turnover, brother.
We're not even asking the Bears defense to go from bottom feeders to the top 5 or even the top 10. 214 quarterback pressures. And again, I cannot say this enough. If you have time, go back and watch the last play of the Bears versus Green Bay game in the playoffs, and Ben screaming, get his ass. No, I don't know what you want to talk about Austin Booker? Go look at what Austin Booker's doing on that play if you want to get pissed off. Austin Booker doesn't know what he's doing on that play. Finally, Montez Sweat almost gets through, and that pass was horrifically close. And nobody wants to talk about that.
Here's another one. Emphasis, Stag, thank you. Super chat, $5. Emphasis on extended Flus. Didn't just hire the guy. He extended the guy after absolutely shitting the bed. We've called it the worst showcase of GM ever. To know that you had the first overall pick, yet you stuck with Matt Eberflus, was negligence. Yet everybody forgets that. It was a layup for Caleb. Sorry, Swifty. It was. You will forever hear it because you said it. They're not drafting him. They're keeping Justin. No. Everybody fucking saw it that actually knows football. The reality is now there's an arm wrestling match, not just with Tyson Bajan's dad. It's Ben and Ryan. They might be step for step, but at some point, the GM has to take the approach of what's best for the team overall. And with the most glaring hole being defensive end, even bigger than left tackle. It's no doubt that you didn't even sign one as an undrafted free agent. The showcase of arrogance is beyond anything. I can't say Shane's wrong that Ben's saying that, but I could say if that is true, Ben is utterly fucking wrong. That's not how you approach this. Well, you wanted him, coach him the fuck up. No, you got to get better players. We've seen what they are. Fucking bring back the ghost of Reggie White to coach them up. They can't do it. They can't do it. Buddy Ryan's ghost, he couldn't get him to do it. It's what they are. How do you not see it is beyond me. And I love 13 personnel. Nobody loves it more. Under the center. Bring them back. Put them at fullback.
Was there anybody on this panel screaming since we've started TTNL to get under the center and run the fucking football? Smash my... Yeah, it was the guy sitting across from me.
Exactly. Everyone wants these flashy plays. They come off running the football. So Sam Roush being the best, and I agree, best blocking tight end in the draft. I get it. Logan Jones, number one center for me. I took him in my mock draft. The reality is, I get it. It's a great pick for the Bears. But I think it's our job, because there's so many people that just can't listen and they're just fooled all the time, everywhere in their life. And that's why I started this whole network in regards to showcasing tape on YouTube before anybody. Before anybody, showing you the Bears tapes. Anybody that's been with me forever knows that 100% true. Now, everybody's fucking doing it. And most of them suck at it. Because they don't want to show you any negativity. They want to show you one play and tell a story. But the reality is here, we're just always there's nobody that wants to be wrong more than me and Shane.
I'm assuming Colin is tuning in late. Colin, they tried, bud.
According to polls, they tried.
They tried to. What that means, we had 1 to 2 guys in our sequence. They had 2 guys in their sequence. So they wanted to go to 26 or 27. That's what he's telling you. That's how that works. You're willing to drop down so you can guarantee yourself one of those 2. Buffalo didn't want to trade up because they wanted a wide receiver. That's why they lost Concepcion to Cleveland. 1 pick before us. That's why they bailed out. Don't forget, Buffalo traded 3 times. They were drafted 26th. They made 3 trades on night number 1. 3. Miami knew that they weren't going to lose their guy, so why would they trade up for him? That's why. But anyways, let's put a
world last point.
Yeah.
Everybody, I've put my name to it. So you'll all be watching Cassius Howell. But my real truth is 100%. If I'm the GM of the Chicago Bears, as soon as Bain hit the 12th pick, I'm calling them. I'm telling Shane, call the 13th, 14th. If this motherfucker gets out, we need him. And it would have been a game changer. And that's a true A+ draft, because you got the best pass rusher in the draft and you went aggressively up to get your guy. And you said, Dennis Allen, fuck you and your shitty ass traits and measurables limiting any fucking thing. You did the right thing for once. You got a dog that's motivated, that's going to give you the opportunity that you went and spent $98 million on for Khalil Mack. That's what Tampa's getting. A Khalil Mack. And that's what I would have done. So save that. And everybody knew I would have taken Malachi Lawrence at 25. He went to the Cowboys. The Bears are who I think they are. They're led by a GM
that's what I don't understand. People think their gotcha moment with you and I on this topic is, well, who would you have taken at 25? I've listened to I've been a part of you guys forever. Then you're not watching anything. That's all we talked about for months and for weeks leading up to the NFL draft was about who we would take. We talked about it over and over and over again. Phil gave you two names tonight in Cassius Howell and Malachi Lawrence. Malachi Lawrence wasn't even available. Everybody was saying that he was going to be a reach at 25. He went 20. Now, does that mean that he's automatically going to hit?
No.
Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't.
Told me Lawrence had the best hand usage at get off, motor. He had everything that you want, including the measurables that DA wanted. The best guy to me was Bain. So, and if you're a patron, you could see my top fives. I saw Malachi for what he is going to be, and we will see. But this isn't about just sack numbers. Like, how many impacted plays did Gervon Dexter make last year? Every sack, I swear on everything I love, every sack was a forced up in the pocket quarterback trying to escape, fall into the sack. There was not one play where he bulldozed a fucking single block guard, swam or ripped underneath him, and finished the quarterback. This motherfucker can't even pick up a fumble. The reality of where Bears fans defend players is beyond anything I could have imagined, because it doesn't supply any truth to the tape of it. So sacks are one thing. A rookie coming in here, I don't care how many sacks Cassius Howell gets. I believe that football player would have made a greater impact on the Chicago Bears defense than Dylan Thieneman.
And here's some breaking news. Cassius Howell, his career is going to go beyond 1 year.
Exactly.
So that's what everybody's going to fall into. It's just like the dumb comments with Mikael Williams yesterday that we were dealing with. It's just like, God. He's a bust.
He's a bust.
He was a reach. He would have been a reach at 10. Well, he went 11th. Well, I don't like him. Okay, cool, great. But there was the one comment that the Bears easily could have traded up with the Eagles. No, they couldn't have easily done that. Pittsburgh Steelers were on the phone with Mekhi Lemon. There's video of it. Pittsburgh was drafting 21. Philadelphia was drafting, 23. They traded up while Pittsburgh was on the phone with Mekhi Lemon. Philly made an in-division trade with Dallas. Mekhi Lemon's on the phone talking to Pittsburgh about how he's excited to go to Pittsburgh. And then he looks up and he goes, "Why is Philly calling me?" And he hangs up the phone with Pittsburgh, and it's Howie Roseman saying, "Welcome to Philadelphia. We just traded up for you." So they couldn't have traded with Philly.
Yeah, couldn't have traded. Sean Stewart with a super chat. I don't know if Shane got to see Jim Larison's message, but I got to go back to that.
Yes, I like it, and I agree with Jim wholeheartedly. The Browns are the perfect color for that name.
Sean Stewart with $5. So tell me what you think about our new safety tandem.
Well,
and where it's better than last year.
That's the perfect segue, Phil.
Thank you, Sean.
So we're going to go pick by pick to make you fucking degenerates happy. No, we love you guys.
Because your pick
I am
You
going to
know,
ask Phil a
he's just-
series of questions with Phil being the coach. Phil is
Yes.
going to be DA with the
Oh.
defensive picks, and he's going to be Ben Johnson with the offensive picks. So, all right. So, Phil, the Chicago Bears at
Mhm.
number 25 in the 2026 NFL draft, they drafted Dylan Thieneman, the safety from Oregon. A versatile safety that's very, very fast. He's a 4-3 guy. We've seen him on tape making plays at Purdue, making plays at Oregon. Is he the perfect safety prospect? Absolutely not. He's got things to work on. But what I want to ask you as a football coach, and tell me where this is, if I'm right or wrong, or if it doesn't make a difference, or if it does. When you go out in free agency and you sign Kobe Bryant to be your number one safety, obviously you have a free and a strong.
Mhm.
How many options does it give DA when you have essentially two guys that can play free safety, two guys that can play strong safety, that are fantastic athletes, that are fast as hell? Tell me how that can open up your defense on the back end for a defensive coordinator to have that much versatility and explosiveness in your secondary on the back end.
Well, it's definitely going to help you out big time in your ability to disguise coverages as well as scheme blitz.
Because why? Because why, Phil?
Right? Because
right, Wad?
now
Right,
you
Waddle?
have two athletes that can cover tight ends and can cover slot receivers at safety. So it gives scheme versatility and difficult misdiagnosed coverages for the opposing quarterback. So it becomes a strategic pick in regards to how this football player can impact coverage. Now, his weakness is tackling in some occasions. I don't think he's a poor tackler. Like I thought Brisker became a poor tackler.
But
I don't think he's
so
there.
Let me say this though, Phil. and this is critical, and I think that this can go over into tight end talk, because I always remember the night that we drafted Greg Olson at 30th overall. They were talking about his blocking, and they're like, not only is he not a good blocker, he doesn't even attempt to block. He's not interested. Dylan Thieneman wasn't drafted for his tackling ability. Let's be honest. I mean, we're calling a spade, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that's a fact. I don't want to. That's his one weakness. There's no questioning the athlete, the range, the ability, as Ivan was talking about. I don't know if he's not there, but the improvement that he showcased moving to Oregon and playing in that scheme to be able to fill the alley. The pick, I completely understand. Would I do it though? No. That's my truth.
Yeah, and so Jim actually brings up a great point here, and I can actually speak on this because I'm an Alabama fan. Eddie Jackson was a team captain at Alabama, and Eddie Jackson got benched by Nick Saban. Why? Because he didn't want to tackle. Nick Saban said, I made you a captain on this team. You're a captain of our defense. You're a defensive leader. And now you're going to do all of that from the bench over here because you don't want to tackle. Eddie was all about the big plays, the interceptions, and, thinking that he was Deion Sanders of the safety world.
Right.
And Nick Saban benched him. And I don't think it's a coaching issue at all. It's a want to issue.
And that's what we don't have to worry about with Dylan.
And Thieneman doesn't show a disregard for not being interested, because
there's decisions.
And there's plenty of tackles that you've seen on tape, Phil, where he does get in there. Yes.
But there's tape where he squares up and fucking wraps someone up. I'm not sitting here gonna lie to you. He's gotta improve on it, but I think he's a will. If there's a will, there's a way. The reality of that statement is so good with Dylan because there's no questioning the athleticism and the range and the speed. And you have that drive and want to, you're only going to get better. Reps make it better. Good coaching makes it better. But the reality is,
Guess
a
what
good
makes it even
coach
better,
can't
Phil?
make you want to do it.
Guess
You
what makes
have
it
to
even
want.
better, Phil? A good defensive line makes it a lot better. Even though Ryan Poles doesn't believe that.
Well,
And
that's
again, neither one, we're not sitting here. This would be a whole different conversation completely if Phil and I didn't believe in Dylan Thieneman, the player.
if
to
he
a
was
man.
a bust type of player on tape, like a reach, like
Yeah, we would have lost our mind.
this would be. You think it's bad? We're negative. We're the most honest fucking people breaking down the Bears out there. If you really pull back, you want fucking sunshines and Snicker bars. They're gonna melt, bro. That's what those dudes are doing to you.
I was on the defensive line brigade.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I would have been pissed off if the Bears drafted Caleb Banks at 25? Yes, I would have been pissed off.
I would have been livid.
Yes, that's
Livid.
my point. That's my point. So it's not just take any guy. It's never been that. Dylan Thieneman was Phil's number 2 ranked safety. And the guys, when we do this, and I think most people know this, patrons definitely know this. So if you're not a patron, head over to the tapeneverlies.com, sign up. The Dylan Thieneman breakdown is going to be it's the longest one we have by far.
Yeah, and it'll be,
and you'll have access to that and our old, our past and present and future libraries. But now I'm losing my train of thought. What was I just saying there?
Dylan Thieneman, Caleb Banks trying to get you back.
Oh yeah, so it's never been about it. You just got to take defensive line to take defensive line, and that's what people are trying to say. Oh, these guys are going to be pissed off whoever the Bears take because they want to talk negativity. No, it's not about that. We want good players and we want what's best for the Chicago Bears. And it's not just about pick 25. Never has been. This is a 5-year process for Ryan Poles where he's done the same thing over and over again. And clearly, he believes in building the secondary before he builds the defensive line. Because you know why, Phil? Because that's what he's good at. He's been able to identify talent in the secondary and attack it in the draft, in pro free agency, in the undrafted free agent market. That's one thing that Ryan Poles, the former offensive lineman, has shown an ability to do. He pulled Blackwell off the scrap heap from Philly. He drafted he drafted Kyler Gordon. I don't want to say that he discovered Nashawn Wright, but he's done it at every level. You got to get to a point where he can do that on the defensive line, but I'm taking us back down this fucking wormhole again.
I have a hard out.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
No defensive line will be better than Booker next year. End of story. Mic drop. Okay. You're talking about the whole NFL or on the team? Or are you talking about drafted players?
That's called hope and a prayer. And listen, we hope you're right.
Oh, he's talking about in the 25th pick.
Yeah,
I don't think you could say anything because the 25th continues all the way through. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Because it goes all through 7 rounds of a draft. So no rookie will be better than Booker, is what you're saying. 25 back. I find that a fool's bet. I'll take the bet with you. I'll take that bet. You want to bet that, Lil Silpy? I'll take it. Go watch Shamar Turner highlights, Shane.
Well, highlights are supposed to be good, just so
That's
you
why
know.
we
They're
call
not
them
called
highlight.
they're not called lowlights. They're going to show you lots of good plays on highlights.
I've
when
said this for Lil C Pilla, Lil Caterpillar. That would be a new stage nickname, MC Caterpillar. I have said this many times. Every fucking kid that is in college, Division 2, 1 AA, FCS, all of it, has a highlight film that you would be like, damn, this motherfucker can play. That's because they're all amazing athletes. They are. It just happens to be that everybody at that NFL level is. All right.
All right, so we're going to move on to round number 2.
Yes.
As the Chicago Bears at pick 57, Heinz 57, not only did he become a Chicago Bear, he gets free catch-up for life being picked number 57. True story if you haven't tuned in. Logan Jones, the center from Iowa, Draft Dr. Phil's number 1 ranked center in the draft, becomes a Bear at 57. Phil, you did the Garrett Bradbury breakdown. You know, the Bears talked about it, and I didn't think of it this way. And somebody, I don't know if it was on X or somebody in the comments during the draft said, you think about the expense that the Drew Dahlman retirement actually cost you. And when you break it down,
I said that on the show.
But the Drew Dahlman retirement cost you a 2nd and a 5th round draft pick.
Yes.
When you think about that, that's
they traded for Bradbury, and they took a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
That's how important the center position is. It's been neglected in Chicago before Dahlman. We know the stories. So that's why I'm not a hypocrite in standing here saying, this is my number 1 center. I believed, if you watched my breakdown of it on the tapeneverlies.com, become a patron, you would hear me say, this is a future all-pro. This guy is so much better than what we've had. It's not even close. The athlete, the power, the ability to move his feet and get to the 2nd level and control blocks, the ability to get to a 3 technique on a scoop block. That's the hardest block for a center to make, in my opinion. You got to be outstanding. This dude's doing it in the Big Ten, which is the best conference in college football. We always give it to the SEC. No, the Big fucking Ten right now is the best college and conference in football. This motherfucker's doing it there.
So, Phil, as a football analyst and a head coach and somebody that's been around this, and you would consider yourself, I think most people know this, but maybe some don't. Phil would consider himself an offensive line guru. That's his favorite thing to break down, and that's where he feels like he's at his best, is working with and breaking down the offensive line. So that being said, and I made my thoughts known on this, I'm going to be disappointed if Logan Jones is not our starting center. That's what I want out of my 2nd round draft pick. And I believe in him enough. I believe in his talent enough and his physicality enough. I think he's a more physical football player than Garrett Bradbury is. I think he's a more physical football player than Drew Dahlman was.
Oh my God.
I'm going to be
100%. He's more athletic than Bradbury, and
And
Bradbury's good.
Yes, he is. So let me say this too, because I already took us back to the playoff game versus Green Bay. Now, if I take you back to the playoff game versus the LA Rams, go back and watch that and watch nobody but Drew Dahlman, and you will see a struggling offensive lineman that played probably the worst game of his pro career in Drew Dahlman versus the Rams. He was absolutely dominated. overall.
Yeah, he got snaps over the head. He had all these issues. And listen,
But so
I agree with you.
Yeah.
He should be contending to start, and that's the point. You should sit there and listen to Ryan Poles say, we draft for competition at every position. We want to be better. If that's the truth, then to Shane's point, Logan Jones better be getting in the playbook, getting ready, and preparing.
And I have almost no fear. I have no fear of that not happening. You know what I mean?
Neither do I.
Yeah.
His talent and
he's a lifer. That dude is. You can you can tell.
And that's why they picked him on top of. You're right. You're picking him there to start. I thought Bradbury was an upgrade to Dahlman. People were thinking I was crazy, but I showed it in my breakdown of Bradbury. So this kid's an upgrade to Bradbury. The competition goes, well, maybe. And you saw this with Olin. He talked about it on our show. To his credit, when he came into the league, as talented as he was like competing with, what was his name? Casey Wegman. And he's like, Wegman had me by a mile because there was things I needed to learn about the NFL.
Olin also came into the league as a 20-year-old rookie. That was 1998.
20 years old.
Yes, the Bears drafted him in round 3. Yeah.
Third round pick out of Washington. Undersized, short arms. How did he do? The reality is, good pick, competing to win. You get to the level where your offensive line is improved. Now you go with whoever gives Ben and Caleb confidence. And it could be he doesn't start the first game or two, and then all of a sudden he's who knows? But the goal should be
that's Ben's MO. Really, when you look at it, he's held the rookies back a little bit. He did it with Colston Loveland. He did it with Luther Burden. Now there was some other factors to that because Luther wasn't picking up the playbook at the pace that they wanted originally. But even Monungai got kind of he was in there for plays, but he also got a late start. Exactly. Ozzie Trapillo. So I think you're probably going to see that same type of trajectory. I just look at Logan Jones and think that he's good enough and enough of a dog that he's going to make a statement as soon as he's in there. And it like what Sean said, yeah, totally agree. If he was 21
guy,
yeah, he's going to be a 25-year-old rookie.
Daniel's 20 years old coming in. Now his head's spinning. It's a 25-year-old kid playing at Iowa in the same kind of outside zone blocking inside offense that the Bears run. In fact, I drafted 2 linemen in my mock. Both of them happened to go to the Bears in the Vanilla Gorilla and Logan Jones. If you're a TTNL honest fan, you would know that I did that because I'm looking at that tape and I see what they're doing. And that's why I respect Dan Rashar, because I know he knows talent. So I don't have a fear at all because I've watched an offensive line play so much better with their techniques, their finishing, their hand placement, their working and cohesion.
Yeah.
You know, you don't come away on watching Ben's offense with Rashard coaching it. Wow, they really fucked up a lot. There'll be plays here and there that happens, but it's not what Chris Morgan. I mean, oh my fucking God.
Right.
Anyway.
And I've seen a couple people say this. It was 100% he was pissed off because he felt like he
should have been higher.
Yeah, he felt like he should have been drafted higher. And these guys, listen, you go from round 1 to round 2, it's millions of dollars. Imagine going from he was essentially projected in round 2 and fell into round 4.
I think it's a surreal moment.
Well, he was. He didn't really.
Disappointment and anxious.
It
and
had nothing to do with him going to Chicago. He's coming to a great situation.
Only Packer fans do that shit.
Yep. So, all right, we'll move along here. So that puts us at pick 60. The Bears were on the clock. The phone rang. They answered. It was Tennessee. The Bears gave Tennessee their second round pick at number 60. The Bears decided to move down 9 slots to pick 69, and they picked up a 2026 round 5 pick 144 selection. So, Phil, the Bears at pick 69, we all know where they went there. I don't think I saw a single mock draft anywhere having the Bears go tight end in round 3 or before, but they did. It just shows that how critical this is. And listen, let's be you can be a Cole Kmet fan. Cole Kmet's not going anywhere this year. This is essentially the Cole Kmet replacement in 2027 and beyond because of Cole's financial number. It's just it is what it is. The Bears reworked his deal the night before the draft, but Sam Roush, the tight end out of Stanford, was selected at pick 69 for the Bears. Talk about him. We had Matt Waldman on live that night. Matt Waldman was, I want to say probably talking everybody off the edge for the most part. Now, Matt Waldman.
It was this round, it was a 3rd round pick, right, Waddle?
Yeah, right. Waldman had his projected upside that he doesn't see him reaching as a Gronkowski type, which he's like, I don't think he'll ever see that. But where he can make his biggest impact really was going to be one of 2 teams, and that was going to be the LA Rams or the Chicago Bears because what they believe in. Now in 2025, tight end number 3, Durham Smythe, was in on 25% of the snaps for 13 personnel. So midway through the season, those numbers started to go up and up and up. Durham Smythe left in free agency. You saw a void there. The Bears had a Steven Carlson and Kalinick, who they activated on game day in the playoffs for his blocking prowess. But Phil, talk about the Y tight end and the options that having 2 viable Y tight ends can provide you, and talk about what Matt Waldman talked about, what that lets you do with Cole and Roush in line, and what you can do with a talent like Colston Loveland, maybe in some packages where you push him to the outside.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it earlier. You're getting the best blocking tight end, arguably, in the draft, and an athlete that isn't Smythe. This guy can get down the field and catch the football. The production he had with the quarterback play in Stanford it's impressive when you put it into perspective. Ask Caterpillar. He'll tell you the reality of what Roush was dealing with at Stanford wasn't good. So for what he did do on tape and what he brings to the table at the point of attack and gives you that quality, he's a better blocker than Cole Kmet. He's a more structured blocker on whams. He's accurate with his hand placement and his body. He doesn't
tell people what a wham block is, because there's going to be people that are out there that are just scared to ask what it is. Just explain what it is real quick when you say a wham block.
Well, there's 2 different terms. Some people call a wham a kick out. I call, both. You're going to come down on a defensive tackle when you're coming in motion, or D-end. Everyone's blocking down, leaving. So you're basically trapping whoever the assignment is. It could be elite, get the 3 technique, guard avoids, he comes down full speed, puts his body and pads and completely moves that body out, or he's playing the wing and comes in motion or in a motion and smashes the defensive end and gives you that. The reality of watching Cole do this, he's constantly diving at the ground. He's constantly losing his feet, not just in blocking, but in route running and pass catching. We call them Clunky Cole.
And
I
Phil,
felt there's some improvement there, but I think there's an improvement here to Cole.
There is, but let's be honest. If Cole was doing everything that Ben wanted him to do, I don't think Sam Roush is the pick at 69.
I agree.
I'm just being honest.
Ben
and I know
made
people,
that pick.
Right, 100%. This is a Ben.
But they
Johnson
admitted
pick.
on that they had a certain amount of players that they feel that fit their scheme and their team.
Ryan Pohl's exact words were, they had the smallest. So what they do is they put bear heads up on players that they want to be bears, and they right, Waddle. They had such a condensed list this year that it was the smallest grouping of players that they've ever chose from. Part of that can be the talent level. And listen, there's guys that are ultra talented that the Bears were never going to draft because character, medical concerns, and unfortunately, a guy like Cassius Howell wasn't going to be considered in Chicago. Why? Because Dennis Allen is so strict on his parameters at defensive end that they don't fit the profile, which I think is a massive mistake.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's blundering on a level that we don't talk about all night.
We don't need to go back down that alleyway. But Phil, one more thing that I want to talk about Sam Roush as a coach. Talk about what you can do specifically in the red zone with your 13 personnel with Colston.
We saw it with
now Sam Roush.
But we saw it against Green Bay for the 2-point conversion. You can line up in big, and then on first down trade.
You saw Ben go just like this.
Yes,
on that. Yeah,
you can now trade out of that with these kind of athletes at tight end, and especially Colston Loveland, who now can win a one-on-one against a linebacker or a mismatch, and so can Roush. I'm telling you. So,
and who's your running back in these packages, Phil?
If I would be putting Monungai in there.
I know. I knew where you're going. Exactly.
Monungai's also working on his hands. Yeah. I love to see players working on their craft to improve themselves. That's your brand. That's what you do. There's no loyalty in football. It's not for long. The average is 3 years in the NFL. 3. So the reality of this exercise, when you go 5 years without taking an edge, we'll just leave it at that. So it's just a very good moment for the Chicago Bears to understand that their maniacal offensive head coach recognizes how much importance he's going to place on using tight ends and getting under center. Action game off of this now. Say you stay in tight, Roush at the point of attack blocks down, releases out off action. You already have Colston Loveland now doubled because they're afraid. And now Roush becomes a mismatch for somebody, or your running back just wheeling out there, no one covering him because they're all intimidated by it. When you have those kind of talents, you get mismatches. There's been a time where people say the tight end is a quarterback's best friend. I believe so as well.
So Rise Above is talking. I agree with Shane's statement on Cole losing his balance, diving on the field, blocking, catching, not dropping his shoulder pads enough in one-on-one. $4.99. Appreciate the super chat there, but
Thank you.
Listen, he makes a great point. Now Sam Roush is a better athlete overall than Cole, and I don't know if everybody should know what mock draftable is. It's a place they'll take all of the athletic numbers and their scores, and they combine them, and they give you they punch out similar athletes to what their vertical jump and broad jump and three cone and their height, weight, and wingspan. They put everything together, and then they give you a very close comparison athlete to athlete. So when you input Sam Roush's numbers, when you're talking about what type of athlete comes out, there was a TTNL, a Phil favorite, John Michael Gillenborg, was the number one athlete that came out. But in there, this is very interesting. Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State University.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is interesting. All right, so we're gonna move things along here, and this brings.
Hustle.
Yep. I don't need to be getting any phone calls from Miss Satoshin. So this brings us to pick number 89, Xavion Thomas, Phil, the 4.28 Dynamo, the Ben Johnson number one pick. This is the Ben Johnson pick, along with Sam Roush in the entire draft here. But Phil, there's Field Yates talked about it. He got a call from an executive within the NFL, not from the Bears, saying that he wanted to ask Field. He asked Field where he had Xavion Thomas in his overall list, and Field Yates didn't have him in his top 150. This guy told him that it was a mistake because he's going in round 3 in the NFL draft, because guys that can return the football, guys with 4.2 speed, and guys that bring you versatility, not just as wide receivers, guys that can do a little bit of everything, that's where they go in the draft. So the Bears made that choice. Again, at number 25, Xavion Thomas, the wide receiver from LSU, 5'10 and 3/8, 190, is a Chicago Bear. Talk about what type of element he brings. We know what he's going to do in the return game. I don't think that that's any big surprise, but you see this trend of Bears going after guys in the trade market in Bradbury, and you got his replacement. You go after a guy like Khalif Raymond in free agency, and you just drafted his replacement. Talk about what options a guy like Xavion Thomas and his skills in the backfield, on drag routes, everything, what he can bring to this offense for Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I think that's what Ben is projecting here, because it doesn't show up a lot on tape. There's inconsistencies there. I felt like this was a reach for somebody that you see a high ceiling fit to your offense. It's no different than me loving a Daniel Braverman, and I see that he would fit my offense, and I'm going to draft him. I don't care where everybody else has him. That's what Ben's doing here. This to me is a wait and see. There's no doubt what he's going to bring to the table as a kick and punt returner, that kind of speed and the ability. He's a very natural runner too, very instinctive. He has good vision. His hands are a little inconsistent, and his ability to run a route is in practice when a defensive back is going half speed or whatever. Yeah, it's going to look good for a lot of blog boys that don't know this fucking practice. When we get into the games, the reality of what you can do for me is a wait and see. Time is going to tell on this football player. He's very raw. He's very athletic and fast. I think the speed does show on tape. I saw something. I don't see 4.28. I do.
I didn't see the blinding 4.2 speed on plays where he was going away from people. I saw him get caught a few times. That doesn't mean that he's not fast. Listen, other people are fast
Those
too.
are like jet sweeps where the
Yeah,
guy came
sure.
across. I know what you're saying too, but I do see a guy that eats up yards. So if you're going to run clear outs or deep overs, shallow crosses, you get the ball in his hand and you're faced in man to man. You're forcing them based on your formation to play man. Now you're going to get a simple shallow cross with some speed demon who's good after the catch.
I just think
it's your thing. That's going to be a good thing, but we have to see him do it.
Jade and Xavier are two completely
it's not even the same player.
Yeah.
This guy just eats up traction and accelerates underneath those coverages.
And Phil, you know what he's got in him that we talk about?
A dog.
He's got a lot of fuck you in him. And
he wants to show. He's a great positive energy. You could see it on tape. This is a typical boom or bust that has this personality that you like. It's not, I could bring Tyreek Cohen to the table, but I believe he's more dog than Cohen.
Well, the separator for me is, I mean, Tariq has made plays, but he can do some things in the backfield that Tariq Cohen did, but he can also do a lot of things downfield that Tariq was never going to have the ability to do.
He has way more to give. So that's the shot that you're taking here. And I understand it. And I wouldn't have done it. I'm just being honest, but I don't run Ben's offense, and I know he sees value in this.
I see the vision for Sam Roush, and I'm just being honest. And this could play out, and I'll be wrong. If it was me on draft night, I'm not drafting Sam Roush at 69, and I'm not drafting Xavier Thomas at 89. It's just I'm being honest. It doesn't mean that I dislike the players. I'm just saying that's it's not what I would have done. And that's fine.
You know what? If he blows up, guess who's sitting up here talking about it? You.
Sure.
You're not deleting your show.
Yeah, it's out there. Yeah. So the mock draftable that I talked about, 93.1% when you input all of the measurables, comes back Matthew Golden, the first round draft pick for the Green Bay Packers.
Jeez. He finally scored, Shane.
Yeah, and it would be against
Imagine Packer fan. He's better than Luther Burden, I'm telling you. Yeah. Fuck out of here. Fucking morons over there.
Yeah. Ask any Packer fan just for an honest assessment if they would trade Matthew Golden for Luther Burden right now. And if they tell you no, I think that they're full of shit. So that brings us, Phil, to day number 3, pick 24 in the 4th round, pick number 124 overall. The Bears go corner out of Texas. They bring in the junior, and this is a pick that changed hands multiple times. It was in Jacksonville, then it was in Carolina. The Bears actually made a trade with the Carolina Panthers on this one when they moved around. I'm just trying to get the compensation. The Bears were at round 4, pick 124 they received, and they received round 5, pick 166. The Bears gave up their 4th round pick at 129 and 5th round pick at 144. So they went from 129 and 144 to 124 and 166. So when you look at it, the Bears moved up 5 slots and then gave up 22 slots in the 5th round to drop back. So obviously they were very high on Malik. But again, this is a guy. Now you have a lot of interesting characters at cornerback. Everybody knows our thoughts on Jalen Johnson. Phil and I both happen to believe that overall, if his mind is right and he's bought into football 100%, that Tyreek Stevenson is the most talented guy in your cornerback room, but he's got to be bought in. Huge year for Tyreek. I know he's been working his ass off this offseason, but talk about Malik Muhammad a little bit, and I'll throw up his numbers while you're
He's the
talking.
Shane and Phil of the draft, the guy that's always complaining. He was fired up that he didn't go higher, and that's a good thing. He's kind of shocked in his life that it's about to change, and he's mixed in emotion because he's so upset that he didn't go higher. And I like that. I want a motivated person that comes right in motivated, not sucks and then thinks I gotta come motivate. No, come motivated all the time. Malik is going to compete to start. That's his talent. That's the kind of football player I see on tape, and what Dennis Allen is wanting from his defensive backs and what Al Harris sees. This kid excels in zone coverage and his ability to understand and anticipate routes. So I understand why they selected him. Shane brought it up about Jalen Johnson. We've never shied away from our showcase of where we think he's way overrated and has been injured often and not fulfilling the contract that he was given. This is a guy that could be his replacement for next year, not this coming year, the year after. So we'll see. I like the pick. I like the player. I think he's going to give you a lot of competition there at the cornerback position.
Where you have
one of the best picks.
Yep, where you have Zay Frazier coming back. Kyler Gordon obviously has to stay healthy.
Motivated Tyreek.
Yes, Jalen Johnson, Jalen Jones, Cam Lewis gives you some versatility in your secondary. You have some guys that are unheralded here in Dante Manning, obviously Malik Muhammad, Javarius Owens, Terrell Smith is coming back. I think somebody that a lot of people forget about, and there's no more talented guy in the secondary that's just a huge year, I think, for Tyreek and his career moving forward in, being in a contract year in Chicago. So you input Malik Muhammad's numbers into the mock draftable, and at 82.2% comes back former Bear out of the Virginia Tech University, Kyle Fuller.
God, I loved Kyle Fuller. That's actually a great comp.
We almost had Aaron Donald. We got Kyle Fuller, but yeah.
I know. I would have preferred Aaron, obviously, at that time. But
yes.
I still really loved Kyle Fuller.
Yep. All right, so we're moving down here. That brings us to pick number 166. And it's a linebacker out of Arizona State. This is another pick that has moved a whole bunch and went from San Francisco through Philly, through Jacksonville, through Carolina, to Chicago. So, Phil, you got Keyshawn Elliott, 6'1 3/4, 231 pounds, 76-inch wingspan. Talk about maybe what your expectations are.
Going to be a special teams football player. It's going to be one of those building blocks to see. And we have seen the linebacker position has often injured here in Chicago. Saw it last year. And these guys that you need to be able to play the position really well, there's a lot to like about this football player. Patrons, we'll see. And he's going to be in the competition to play soon. I just think obviously Devin Bush, DeMarco Jackson over him in those nickels, and we'll see how TJ Edwards, he's pushed Noah Sewell probably off the roster coming off a traumatic injury, and then you fill out the rest. But he's clearly coming in and being a special teams, every special team starter.
Yeah. And I know Dane Brugler had him, I believe, in his top 100. Thought that he obviously should have went a little bit earlier, but that's neither here nor there. But when you're talking about, Phil, when you're talking about the Chicago Bears linebackers, you brought up Devin Bush, TJ Edwards. Listen,
Coming off injury.
Yeah, coming off a pretty gruesome injury at 29 years old. You got some guys, some unknowns, Dominique Hampton, Ruben Hippolyte. We have the TTNL favorite, former guest, DeMarco Jackson in there. Jack Sanborn is back. You have the Sewell brothers, Noah and Neffy. I literally don't know if I've seen Neffy play.
I've never seen Neffy.
Yeah.
Play. He's like your Neffy that never plays. Your nephew. This kid has a lot to like. Great. I saw the comment. Great angles to the football. An improvement to Sewell getting beat for the 15th time on the wheel route down the sideline by Aaron Jones when he was with the Packers and with the Vikings. The guy continued to do it. So that's that, Shane. Last pick.
So the Bears trade picks 239 and 241 in the 7th round. They trade with the Buffalo Bills to move all the way up.
All the way up.
To pick this guy, Jordan Vandenberg, Phil.
All the way up.
And if you listen to our live broadcast, you would have heard the genius across from me say, this guy's Raz is going to be the lowest one you're going to see from this draft class. And then we popped up the 10.0, and Phil thought we were full of shit.
Someone goes, this guy's a 10, Raz. As a joke, I go, yeah, I'm sure he's going to be the lowest one now. That's why I said that.
So real quick, just before we move on.
The Raz never lies.
Completely from Keyshawn Elliott, you put him into mock draftable. Like I said, you put in all his measurables. The name of 85.6%, Sean Lee from Penn State, the former Dallas Cowboy.
I like Sean Lee. Just always got fucking hurt.
Always.
He was like the biggest dick tease ever. But he wasn't our problem. But Raz God here.
Yeah, Jordan Vandenberg.
First time I've ever seen a 10 in regards to it. So it's going to be interesting. This is a great pick if you're swinging for the fences. This is the kind of shit you want to do. Now, I preferred an edge, but what you see on tape is a guy that was new to the sport, came in, worked his ass off, continues to do it, transferred from Penn State to Georgia Tech. It showcases a lot to like on film. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on his technique. Obviously, the God-given ability to test well.
The biggest thing that you're going to notice right off the jump when you start to watch him, and I'm going to assume most people have not tuned into Georgia Tech or seen Jordan Vandenberg tape. When you talk about Jervon Dexter doing this, not out of his stance, you're going to see Vandenberg equal with Montez Sweat because he has that first step explosion that will actually kind of shock you for a big guy.
He works.
Yeah.
Again, if he starts getting better body lean and hand placement, if they coach this kid, you could steal one here. And the reality of his young ascension in the fucking position and the sport of football kind of hinders his where he went. The production wasn't there at Penn State. Maybe the opportunities weren't. We know how that program went. This kid is a diamond in a rough, swing for the fences type of, and that's what you should do in those later rounds is find these high-end athletic talents that have that kind of work ethic and drive. And this kid has that raw talent.
Mike Washington Jr.'s updated one, Rogue Agent, was actually 9.88. But I mean, even at that point, your point
amazing.
still stands. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
I never saw a 10, just to be honest. So if Raz scores were tape scores and having a 10, this kid would be the best defensive tackle in football. We will see. We will see.
But I'm excited.
I'm excited.
This is one of those guys when they tell you that preseason games suck.
Yeah.
No,
when the Bears blog leaves for the play because he doesn't want to watch, but he's still giving analysis. Thinks preseason's dumb. This is where Shane and I watch every fucking rep of every player.
Oh, where we watch Jordan Vandenberg and see, see how he's doing.
That's how we just said there's no way you can cut Ja'Day Walker.
Yeah.
Like he's shown you way too much you haven't seen.
Yep. So that's going to wrap up our draft class. We're not going to get into the UDFAs tonight.
We will next week.
Yep. Phil's got a
Phil's
got to test out his RAS score. We'll see if he performs at a 10, which I doubt.
Love you, Shane.
You're welcome, Steph. But we're gonna get out of here. We will be back. I guess I won't be back. Phil really had to get going. We will be back. Please go over to thetapeneverlies.com, sign up, become a patron. Ivan has all of the Dylan Thieneman tape. It's in the can, as they say, ready to go. It's going to be a really long breakdown. We have Purdue tape. We have Oregon tape. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a long one. And it's banked on our Patreon. So once we show that, it's not that we take it away. It's going to be there at your disposal to watch as many and as often as you want to do. If you want to go back and watch it this summer, it's going to be available for every single draft pick. And we're going to even get into some of the UDFAs like a Vanilla Gorilla. So that should excite some of you guys. But again, and I know you guys, I just want to say this one more time. I know that you guys get upset and you think that we pound the same subject into the ground. And honestly, it's Phil and I are doing exactly what we need to do because what we are saying matters. The sunshine and rainbows of the new toy does not. Everybody got sick of the quarterback talk with Caleb, and look at where we are now. Do you want to go back to where we were, or were we right? Yeah, we were right about it. Do we have our misses? Of course, everybody does. Defensive line, we're right. It's going to be important. You can't dismiss it forever. You just can't. So with that being said, let me go through here, make sure that we got all these super chats. Roast beef. Polls is not much without Ben Johnson and Caleb. It's, well, like I said, we're gonna see. It's a big year for Ryan Poles. He's not going anywhere. He's got that big money extension, and I think that Ben to this point doesn't have any issues with him, but things can change. Jeremiah Story 8938 $1.99 to see a lot of DB linebacker blitzes. That's the only way, and that's where it's going to have to be. I don't think that the Bears are built to survive with their front four. Stewart, we put this in there. Thanks, man. Tell me about the new safety tandem, which we got into. I know we put this up here once already, and the last one we got into also. So with that being said, we're going to wrap it up here. We do have some news coming up concerning Phil and I. Not really a new venture, but we will share that. Some breaking news where you're going to be seeing a little bit more of us. What's that going to be about? We'll see. But stay tuned and we'll share it. We got these offensive picks talked about. We got these defensive picks talked about. Fuck defense, as Ben says. We're going to get out of there. We'll see what Ivan feels. But we appreciate you guys. We're a little over 2 hours in. You guys were awesome in the chat all last week for our big, long draft week. We were live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, multiple times on Thursday, multiple times on Friday, and about 6.5 hours straight on Saturday talking and breaking down day 3. I don't think anybody else is doing it like us. So please, as I said, head over to the tapeneverlies.com, sign up, become a patron, give us a shot over there. I think you'll be very impressed and you'll love what you see. We have a very active chat room that's alive and bumping 24/7, 365. I know Scottish Bear, being across the pond, he keeps everybody updated while us slackers over here in the U.S. are asleep. So there's always somebody around in there talking about Bears football and posting news. And sometimes we have some healthy debates like Rodney and I did yesterday. So there's going to be more of that, but we're going to get out of here. Appreciate you guys. The Bears 2026 NFL draft is now in the books. We can take these off, go back to our old logo. Still got lots to break down, but we appreciate you all, and we will see you very, very soon as we get in to this 2026 Chicago Bears offseason once again.